Start with the angle bisector first. I'm not going to really ask anybody about the drawing. Just make sure you have a line. Doesn't have to have an arrow on it, but make sure you put the two congruent marks so I know it's an angle bisector. If I drew in the other two, they intersect at a point called the here we go. Well, we're going to do this. Okay, here we go. Where do they intersect at? A point called the in-center. What should we know about? Here you go, Justin. What should we know about the in-center?
Equidistant from the vertices.
Equidistant from the sides. Yep. And what do we have to know about that distance to the sides? It's got to be, anybody remember? Perpendicular to the side, right? It's got to be perpendicular. It's got to form from the in-center. It's got to form a right angle with the side. Okay, so equidistant from the sides. How are we doing here? Median. I'll ask somebody about that. We're still working here. Yeah, we are. Good. All right, Justin, go ahead. Call on somebody. Median.
Nick.
Okay, Nick, ready. Median start where?
At one vertice.
At one vertice and drawn to the opposite sides.
Side, or the middle of the opposite side, midpoint.
The midpoint, there you go, thank you. The midpoint, so I should have markings here and here saying that's a midpoint, so I definitely know that's a median. Give me somebody else, Nick.
Sean.
Okay, median, all three medians intersect at the centroid. That's what we did yesterday in class. They intersect at the centroid. Now, I'm not going to ask anybody about the special property because yesterday we kind of said, well, this segment is double this one. Everyone remember that? All right. It's the centroid splits the median. If this is my centroid, splits it up into two parts, right? So the centroid splits median into a ratio of, anybody remember? I think I mentioned it yesterday. Well, you tell me. This part is what? From here to here is what of this part? It's double, right? So it should be what? A ratio of 2 to 1. And remember, the bigger part is always from the vertex to the centroid. Okay, Sean, need somebody else? Okay, Will, altitude starts where? And is what to the opposite side? There you go. Need somebody else, Will? Okay, all three altitudes max intersect at the orthocenter, yep. And at the end of class yesterday, I told you guys I did the orthocenter last because there really is no special fact. But if I give you the type of triangle, you better know where the orthocenter is. So let's review that right now. So if I have an acute triangle, a right and an obtuse. Max, here we go. Need somebody. Who? If I have an acute triangle, Hugh, all three altitudes will intersect where? Inside the triangle, meaning the orthocenter is inside. Give me somebody else, Hugh. Right triangle. On it. Specifically where? Do you remember, Heaven? Yep, where the two legs meet, where the right angle is. Yep, and then need somebody else? Obtuse. It's outside the triangle. Okay, even though there's no special fact, you still got to recognize where the orthocenter is located. All right, let's go back up to perpendicular bisector. I saved this one for last because I want you guys to realize this is the only one out of the four that do not have to start at a vertice. Make sure you know that, okay? It does not have to start at a vertice. We're going to do this today, but let me do the construction real quick on one side, the perpendicular bisector. Let me just bisect this side real quick, and I'll show you, of course, it doesn't intersect. It's going to intersect right at the vertice. Great. All right, scrap that. Here you go. I want to show you. It's important that I show you this. Yeah, there it is. At a random triangle. Okay, here you go. So let me bisect one of the sides now. Okay, here you go. Open it up more than halfway. That should be a big enough arc. Go over here, do the same thing. Does that start at a vertice? No, but everyone agrees it's a perpendicular bisector though, right? Okay, so I want you guys to realize that in a triangle, this is the only one of the 4 special lines that don't come from a vertice. Could it? Yeah, depending on what type of triangle it is, but doesn't always have to come from a vertice. All right. All right, so it's tough for me to, I'm going to kind of, there we go. I'm just going to show it not coming from a vertice. Perpendicular and bisecting. So it's got to be perpendicular and bisecting. Who's the last one to give me an answer, Cameron? Yes? No? Who gave me the obtuse one? Okay, give me somebody else. Okay, where's the circumcenter? There you go. Don't even have to ask it. And then need somebody else, Emma? What's the special property about the circumcenter? Thank you. There you go. There it is right there, everybody. All right. Anything about those points? Because I'm not going to show you anything new today. All we're going to do today is we're going to take your compass. Hopefully everyone brought the class. If not, you'll be taking a field trip to find one. And we're going to be constructing all of these. Before we do that, let's go to the homework. Let's answer all questions from the homework because a couple of them may have been tricky. Let's get them all. Have your packet still open, though, to that summary page. Have your packet still open to the summary page. What do we want to go over? Here we go. There's got to be some type of question marks that are on somebody's paper. Go, Rachel. 24, everyone. Let's see what we're asking for with 24. EC is, okay, I got to copy this bad boy. And I need the diagram. Okay, here we go. Just not Rachel's question, everyone. EC is an altitude. Tell me what I should be putting on my diagram then. If EC is an altitude, what should I be putting on my diagram? Here we go. 5, what should I be putting on my diagram? Where? There you go. Or on the other side too, doesn't matter. Boom. Good so far, Rachel? That's an altitude, so I know it forms a right angle. Angle 1, 2x plus 7, and angle 2, 3x plus 13. What do I know about angles 1 and 2? Add up to 90 because that's an altitude. So 2x plus 7 plus 3x plus 13 adds up to that right angle 90. And then I solve for x, and I think I should get 5x plus 20 equals 90. 5x equals 70. Oh boy, 1, 2, 14. And then take that 14 and plug it in for 1 and 2. You okay? Knowing what an altitude is there. That was it. Next up. Here we go. Next up. Nothing else. We're all good. We know how to find a centroid on a graph. How to draw a median on a graph. We're all good. Questions? Okay, let me see what you did. And while I'm coming around, get ready for, get your straight edge and compass ready, because that thing is going to get a workout today. Thanks, guys. And I wasn't joking around. If you don't have your compass, go find one, because that's all we're doing today is working with your compass. Just got to borrow this real quick. Okay, here we go. Here's the goal today. By the time you leave, you should have the ability to construct any one of those special points of concurrency we just talked about. All right, any of the four you should be able to find using your compass now. All right, because we're going off the graph. So if I'm going off the graph, I'm going to need my compass and a straight edge. So I'm going to build you guys up. I'm just not going to throw you in and say, hey, find the circumcenter. We're going to build you up. Construct a midpoint. So let's start. Give yourself a line segment. Give yourself a line segment. And this is all, I'm not going to show anything new here. At some point or another during the year, we have done this before. So give yourself a line segment. Some of you are already getting after it. I love it. How do you find the midpoint of a line segment? What construction should I be doing? The construction for? You tell me. We know how to find the midpoint. The perpendicular bisector construction, which is what? Put your compass point on one of the endpoints. Open up your compass more than halfway. And I'm going to move through these because this is not our first rodeo here. We have seen this a ton of times. And I'm going to go off the page. And make sure you label your midpoint. And make sure you put the proper markings on your diagram that shows it's the midpoint. Okay, all good? I want you to take this a little deeper now. If you guys know how to find a midpoint, which special type of line we talked about in the last 2 days should you be able to construct? What's the line that goes to a midpoint in a triangle? Median. All right, remember that when I ask you to do a median here in a couple minutes. All right, now that you know how to do this construction, you should be able to do a median. All right, next one. Constructing a perpendicular line from a point not on the line. All right, so draw yourself a line. And then draw yourself a point that's not on the line. How do I get another line that's perpendicular to the one you drew and going through the point you drew? So I need a perpendicular line going through your point that's perpendicular to the original line. Not the fish anymore. I can't do the fish on lines, only line segments. Remember this one? This was the other basic one we've shown. I got the fish construction, and then how do I make a perpendicular line? Hasn't been that long, has it? Put my compass point where, Heaven? Yep, and what's my goal? Make an arc that intersects your line in 2 spots. And hey, if you can't make it intersect in 2 spots, go back and do what? Make your line longer, extend the sucker. Which looks like I'm going to have to do. And then go open up. Remember, I always like to, after that one, I always like to open up my compass a little wider. And then from each point of intersection, I'm drawing 2 more arcs that will intersect. I would probably say no, because if you do that, the problem is your point of intersection may intersect right at that point. And what you need, Cameron, is you need a point and the 2 arcs intersecting the line you're straight edge up with. So that's why I say open it up a little more. And tell me it's perpendicular, please, to the line. Anybody going to know, anybody predicting what this construction will help you construct in a triangle? Perpendicular from a point down to the other side. Altitude. Yep, you're looking at an altitude right here. All right, here we go. I know this is a little bit redundant, but perpendicular bisector. Let's see it. Give yourself a line segment because we can't bisect a line. Give yourself a line segment. Construct the perpendicular bisector for me. Should get plenty of practice in this one today. Okay, all the basics. One more basic on the next page, one more basic one, and that's bisecting an angle. So take your straight edge right now to sketch an angle. Take your straight edge to sketch an angle. Okay, bisecting an angle. Everyone ready? Put your compass point on the vertex. And we're going to make an arc that intersects how many times? Twice, yep. Make an arc that intersects twice. Go from each point of intersection now. You have 2 points. I have mine right here and right here. Go to each point of intersection. And I'm going to draw 2 arcs that are out in front of the first one. And hopefully I can get those 2 arcs to intersect. And make sure you put the proper markings that say, hey, this is an angle bisector. Okay, after all that review, we should be able to do anything now. Medians, altitudes, incenters, circumcenters, we should be able to do everything. So let's try it out now, but now let's actually put it inside a triangle. Okay, let's put this inside a triangle. All right, here we go. First one, construct a median, AX. Construct median AX, so we know what vertice we have to draw it from. A down to the opposite side. What do you guys know about medians? They got to be drawn to midpoints. Good thing we just reviewed that. How do you find the midpoint of a segment? The perpendicular bisector construction. Yep, so I'm going to go to BC because it's got to start at A, median AX, so it's got to go from A down to CB. So I need to bisect CB. And then we're just going to hold up for 1 sec because some of you guys may get a little confused here. So let's just do our construction. Now, some of you may be getting a little anxious because, hey, it's not lining up with A. It doesn't have to. What is this construction doing for you? It's going to locate the what of BC? It's going to locate the midpoint. So when I line up my straight edge, sure, you can draw the line in it if you want, but if I draw this line in, is that the median? Hey, everyone, if I draw this line in right now, is that going to be the median? No, what's that line called if I draw it in? Perpendicular bisector. All this is doing for me right now is locating the midpoint of BC. That's all that's doing. And medians are drawn to midpoint. So now I can take my straight edge and draw in median AX. And make sure you label X and tell me it's a median by doing the proper markings. Okay. No new construction, just knowing what median was. Anything from you guys? All right. What about the altitude? Draw in altitude AX. What's an altitude again? Starts at a vertice and is perpendicular. So from A, I need to draw a perpendicular line down to BC. We've reviewed that. Where do I place my compass? On A. Okay, we may run into a problem here because what am I trying to do? Make an arc that intersects BC in two spots. And let me see. Ooh, play around with my opening a little bit. I can get it intersect once right here, but not again. So what do you guys suggest we should do? Extend BC. Yeah, I can't get to intersect twice. Let me know if you can. All right, so let's take our straight edge and yep, let's extend BC in one direction. Or both directions, it's totally your call. And let's see now if we can get it intersect in two spots. Oh, still not yet. How about now? Barely. I'm going with that one right there. And then you should have 2 points of intersection. How are we doing here? 2 points of intersection. I always open up my compass a slightly wider now for the next two steps. Make two arcs that intersect. And where are you guys placing your compass, your straight edge to make the altitude? Well, where's it got to start from? It's got to come from A, right? So I'm going to line my straight edge up with A with that point of intersection. Okay. It said call it AX though, so where it hit the extended side, wherever your altitude hit the extended side, that's what I'm going to call point X. And I saw some of you beautifully already do it. Make sure you tell me it's perpendicular so I form a right angle. Is it okay that it's on the outside? Yeah, I don't know if anybody remember end of class yesterday. If it's on the outside, this must have been what type of triangle? Obtuse. Yep. This must be an obtuse triangle if I have an altitude on the outside. Any questions here? All right, next one. I think you guys can do this on your own here. Construct angle bisector AX. So which angle are we bisecting? Angle A. Go right ahead. Bisect angle A. One more together, then you guys are rolling solo. Oh, got to make sure I call it. I'm getting sloppy here. We're getting sloppy. Somewhere on your bisector, I got to put point. Somewhere on the bisector, I got to put point X, if I'm going to call it AX. Yep, somewhere on the bisector, it's got to be X. All right, last one together. All right, there is a little typo here because I can't construct perpendicular bisector CX because C is already being used. Okay, I want you to bisect AB though. I want the perpendicular bisector for AB. We'll call it something though. Okay, so construct the perpendicular bisector for AB, please. The perpendicular bisector for AB. And as we talked today in class, remember, it will not come from a vertex, all right, in a triangle. The only special line of the four that won't come from a vertex. Okay, you guys are on your own right now. The homework is to finish everything that's here up through page 18. Here you go, ready? I'll help you out with the first one. Construct a centroid. Centroid is the intersection of the medians. Do you need to do all three? No, but you have to do at least two medians on two sides coming from these. All right, so you guys are all on your own. I'll walk around, sit down with you if you need help. All right, here we go. We've reviewed all the basics right now that can get you all the points of concurrency. So find centroid by finding the two medians, and where they intersect will be the centroid.